Hello everyone, coming on here today to let you guys know about my experience and my testimonials. Back in 2020, that's when I gained knowledge of who Ozma was, and this was like around March or April time where I ran into her Facebook page. And at the time I was dealing with credit, not so much of consumer law, which is weird because when you're dealing with credit, now I know that you're also dealing with the consumer. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't run into Ozma. So I've been doing a lot of studying on her page, and I've just been doing a lot of looking through her page and cross-referencing, searching up what the laws is. So once I was able to do that, I became a little knowledgeable about the insight. So when Ozma had her money back tour in 2021, I did attend that money back tour, and that was in September. And I vividly remember this because in the next month, which was October, I was able to fight an eviction case that I was going through. Now, I did not know at the time that I was getting evicted because nothing ever happened. But they were sending me letters, and I never ever experienced eviction before. So when they filed the lawsuit the next month after the money back tour, that's when they messed up. I was fighting the eviction, and when March came around, the judge, they wasn't able to take possession of it, but I only had 1 month left. So after that month left, I moved back to Florida. Now, when I moved back to Florida, so that last month I had it for free. But when I moved back to Florida, my family members, such as my mom, my uncle, and my grandmother, was also experiencing an eviction at that time. When my grandmother was experiencing it, what they ended up doing, they ended up just dismissing the case once she put that answer in regarding what the FDCPA says, who they are and who we are, and what they can and what they can't do, specifically doing stuff unlawfully. So her case actually got dismissed in whole. So they ended up voluntarily dismissing my grandmother's case. Now, my uncles came next, and they didn't easily give up. With his case, they actually was going through discovery and things of that nature. But they never provided anything. So the case got dismissed because they wasn't participating in discovery. So he was able to stay into his place until about June. He got his eviction started around like November, and he stayed until the lease was up, which was June. With my mother, there was also how my uncle was, where they wasn't participating in discovery. I'm not sure why a lot of Floridian properties, they do this, their management, but they don't really participate in discovery if you ask them for it. So they wasn't participating in it. So when the case was still ongoing, my mother's lease was up, but the case was still ongoing. But what ended up happening was the leasing office didn't even know what was going on. That they emailed her, and it was like, "Are you still in the place?" And that's how everything with them went. So you had the property management even asking them, "Hey, are you still living here?" type of thing. And they wasn't participating in the discovery. They wasn't giving what we was asking for, so they was able to stay in longer than whatever they expected the time for my family members to leave. So, and that's on that note. Now, I do want to get into my two most recent wins. I was able to obtain a $5,000 check from a major bank institution, and this was in regards to a credit card company who stated that I owed, I think it was like $508. Well, let me tell you, they was able to give me a $5,000 check, got rid of that $500 debt that they said that I allegedly owed, and they stopped collecting, and they removed it from my report. What more could I ask for? And these are something from people who claim they are just creditors, and they are a debt collector. I told them how they are a debt collector and why that is the case according to the definitions of underneath the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, of course, who I get the clarity from Ms. Oz. She breaks down the definitions, she get into it, and she lets us know who they are, again, who we are, what they can and what they can't do. And that's always going to stick with me, because whenever you're communicating with these people, it's always got to be those things. And we would have to be able to explain it. So I was able to get my recent win for a $5,000 check. Again, this was back in October of 2021. I'm sorry, 2024, where I obtained that check. Now, I did have another recent win in December, which I was able to get back a security deposit, who they did tell me that I wasn't able to get it. But let me tell you something. One thing Ozma taught me is to look at all the laws. She taught me federal isn't the only one that we need to look at, because if I was to use federal law, I don't think I would have gotten my deposit back, because but the situation was, if it was regarding state, it was a state situation with the state security deposits laws. And once I read that, what the law says that they can and they can't do in regards to how the deposit is for one set up, and how they supposed to return it to us, I was able to get it back by letting them know, hey, your state law says that you have to give it back to me within this amount of days, but in the contract you told me I only got 72 hours. So somebody is lying, and I know it ain't your legislative office.